and this is Sea Life.
Welcome back to our channel. Today I had to repair our digger. It's been laid up for 6 months, I think, and so I got to looking at it and finally, and I noticed that the gas tank had a lot of dirt and rust and stuff in it. So I had to clean out the gas tank. That took me a while, but we got it fixed. It's still running a little rough, but I'm sure that it's going to work its way out here shortly.
Now, we had a problem with aphids in the garden. What we're doing to take care of it is a cup of Damascus earth, a cap full of neem oil, and I'm filling it up with water to the fill line on my sprayer, which I have a 1 gallon sprayer. Also put a cup of oil in with it, cooking oil. Vegetable oil is what was suggested. And I mix that all together and I'm spraying that on my plants, and we're going to see what happens. But I'm going to show you my beautiful plants and what they had looked like. Is amazing. They're just huge, so it just breaks my heart to see these aphids get in here. Just breaks my heart. But let's see if you can see the garden. Okay, you see my huge cabbage and huge Brussels sprouts, and you know, they're just huge. I've got a nice, well fertilized bunch of vegetables here, but the aphids have gotten in, and so bad that, like, let me see if I can get you, like right here, like these plants right here, and so I'm just trying my best to get a hold of anything I can to help save my garden. And if you're in this situation, and I hope this information helps you too. I hope we have great success with this, and I'll let you know. I sure will. Now, in the meanwhile, I wanted to show you a little bit more of my garden. Yeah, just look at this lettuce. These heads, what I've done is I've thinned them, and we've used some minerals and some things with them, and I've thinned them about 1 foot apart. And these two heads on the end are looking beautiful, and I'm getting ready to thin the next one. And what I do is about a week in between, I go down the line and I thin them. And so this one will be thin next. We got some beautiful heads of broccoli here happening, but as you see, they have a little bit of aphid pressure, so I wanted to be sure and deal with that right away. And my other broccoli over here, oh my goodness, just beautiful. This is the first time I have had real garden success concerning getting broccoli to actually even head, and most of my broccoli plants now are starting, if not small, starting small heads, but those are the largest ones. But here's another one. They're all starting to have a little bit of something happening, so that is great success. Now, the gardener that I watched on YouTube said he had never before had success with Brussels sprouts. And he said, if that's you, this is what is working in his garden, is the Damascus earth and water as well. And now I just decided that I'd try neem oil, and that oil right along with it. I'd just go ahead and try everything I could to save these, because we had some big beautiful leaves happening, and nice sized plants, and I'd sure like to see something come out of that. My cabbage is gorgeous here. That's my best cabbage there. The one next to it got ate up, and the one next to that got ate up. So yeah, there's that. Now my onions, I am so surprised. They are doing, I think they're doing amazing. And this is the first time I've ever had any success with onions. So YouTube and Google is the best to figure out what you're doing with your garden, is what I have found. And I've got me some little zucchini, some crookneck squash, and my peas plants. My pea plants are doing amazing on this bed spring. They're climbing up the bed spring and they're just doing great. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna go ahead today and fill up some more bags. See how my on-the-go gardening bags. With my feed bags, I'm just filling them up with dirt and using them like planters. I'm putting a little store-bought dirt, and I'm putting a little bit of my dirt and throwing it over my hay that of course we cleaned our stable out and dumped it right in the garden. Now if you followed us from before, you know that we also have logs underground to help with holding moisture in and correcting the soil here. So we wanted to do our garden as cheaply as possible, and that's what we did. We'll probably put some potash on some things maybe later as well, but a friend brought us some minerals over that he had obtained, and he had a big old bucket of them, and so we just started putting those on. And I tell you what, it's really helping. We've got peppers over here that we had bought some pepper plants, and then we had plants that we had saved over the winter. And so here's our pepper patch, and they are doing so good. And our potatoes were doing so well, and we have a couple of plants that are still doing pretty well, and then we have another plant over there, potato plant, doing pretty well. But here's what happened to the other two that were just gorgeous, is the ants found them. So we had to replant. And so every time I go to the store and buy potatoes, I just go ahead and take one out of the bag and stick it out here in the garden and see what happens. And off of those plants that had gotten attacked by ants, we still had a little harvest of new potatoes. So that was really cool. This is my dill plant that's just somehow wound up in that spot in the garden. We don't know how that dill plant got in there, but it did. And it was nice and tall and beautiful, but I trust my horse and my ewe a little bit much, and my horse decided to groom my dill plant. He loved it, by the way. So yeah. So now I'll have to watch him quite a little bit closer. And that dill plant's right next to the peppers. Now we have our bins, we have, I'll show you my carrots that came up and my strawberries. We have beets. Okay. Now we've got, in this bin we've got beets and carrot and a few carrots, because I had started out with an old pack of carrots and they never came up, so I said, well, I'll just plant beets in there. And so there the beets went. But here is my tub of carrots that I planted on. You may have seen the planting of my carrots, and they are this high now. And they look like a carpet. There's just so many of them in there. So I'm beginning to start to thin them. And I'm just every day taking a little bit more away. And I'm going to eat those little carrot tops. And that's how I'm going to handle the thinning of them. Now we've got strawberries. I want to take you over here and show you. It seems like almost every morning we have a strawberry. But but the thing of it is yeah, I'd better get out here and beat the birds to them, because this one has already been eaten by a bird. You can tell. So I will plant that one back, is what I will do. I'll just stick it back in the ground. And that's how these strawberries came to be, by just sticking some old store-bought strawberries in the ground. Because unfortunately, when I buy produce at the store, I very rarely eat it fast enough. So I have to have a garden. These are my beautiful artichokes, and so far they haven't really had any bug pressure. It doesn't look like. Well, maybe a little on the ground, the bottom leaves, but they're doing very well out here. And I did want to tell you too that when you do use that sprayer system, or that mixture in your sprayer, be sure you shake it often. I plugged mine up something fierce, and I'm going to have to doctor on it. But anyway, it may be easier or nicer to take that mixture and paint it on, sponge paint it on your leaves, or something like that. I don't know, but the sprayer just seemed to be the fastest way for me, and so I tried it, and I gummed it up. Well, I didn't gum it up, but it clogged up, so I'm going to have to doctor on it.